With more on that, we welcome tonight's panel to discuss money matters, COVID, and China's big role in both issues. Say hello once again to our Fox News contributors, Leslie Marshall and Jason Chaffetz. Guys, this is, for me, a chance to really drill down on something that I think is really newsworthy. Leslie, I want to get your take on the decision to withdraw the nomination of Sarah Bloom Raskin. I don't think it was a big surprise. How about you?
I don't think it was a big surprise because Joe Manchin, to me, has never been a Democrat except for some blue maybe in a little pocket swatch. But look, Joe Manchin is living in a state, West Virginia, where fossil fuels are essential. He gets huge donations from the fossil fuel industry, and he's become a millionaire pretty much on fossil fuels. So it's not surprising that he didn't like when Ms. Raskin was saying, and I think she's right, actually, that, climate change has some and is going to have some, economical issues. And I think that's common sense. I have to say what really bothered me further than that, Kevin, though, is they're attacking not only a respected member of Congress, her husband, Jamie Raskin, but also a woman who just buried her child not too long ago. I didn't like the personal attacks on her. I didn't think that was necessary. But at the end of the day, it comes down to numbers. It's a numbers game, as we know in politics, and certainly when it comes to votes. And she withdrew because with Joe Manchin not on board in a 50-50 Senate split between Democrats and Republicans, there was no way she was going to be approved for this position.
So much there to unpack with your take on Joe Manchin, but I will move on. Now, for the folks who are unaware of this, Jason, Sarah Bloom Raskin's nomination was to serve as the vice chair for supervision of the Federal Reserve Board. I want to share what Joe Manchin had to say about this nomination, and as Leslie just pointed out, it was DOA, dead on arrival. He said he was unable to support her nomination. Her previous public statements have failed to satisfactorily address my concerns about the critical importance of financing and all of the above energy policy to meet our nation's critical energy needs. Now, you can certainly make an argument, Jason, given what we're paying at the pump right now, we should have whatever we can do to lower the cost for average Americans, whatever we can do to generate more of our own energy, would seem to be the right call. But then again, there are others, Leslie among them, that say, listen, this is an unfair criticism. She could be able to do the job despite some past statements that she has made. I just want to get your take on what Manchin decided to do.
Well, let's not pretend it's just Manchin. It's Manchin plus 50 other senators. So the majority of the United States Senate thinks that she has a very radical agenda that she wanted to implement at the Fed. Look, her green agenda means that the Federal Reserve would make judgment calls based on environmental sensitive governance and force these banks to make loans or not make loans based on the social agenda that she saw fit that others disagree with. And the majority of the United States Senate did not think that she was being genuine in saying that she had this sudden conversion right when it was time for confirmation. She had a long history of these radical environmental agendas that she wanted to institute in the banking scheme. And it's just a radical agenda. And it also may have had to do with the fact that there was $1.5 million in a sale of a stock transaction that her husband was supposed to disclose. Bless his heart, they did lose his son, but for months and months and months, despite the Stock Act, they never disclosed that. And it's kind of important to do when you're in the United States Congress.
About a minute to go, Leslie. I want to get your thoughts on this, and I think it's an interesting note. You and I have had a chance to discuss this idea that there are permits out there that are not being used or aren't generating energy. That's been the White House's take, and others have said we need to do more to generate more of our own energy. I want to share this from the Wall Street Journal. This is an op-ed from Paul Tice. U.S. oil and gas producers need to extend their drilling inventories and permit runways further into the future because of the Biden White House. It's canceling or slow-walking leases on federal lands while clawing back acreage for national monuments. He goes on to add this: the administration also is taking advantage of environmental and endangered species statutes to curtail drilling on private land. And the minute we have left, is he right or wrong on that? Is the administration basically getting in the way and artificially keeping gas prices high?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, look, if you're just going to put it to politics, right? If you're going to say it's about politics, wouldn't it be political suicide to do anything that's going to make gas prices go higher, because that could be the end of your presidency?
You would think.
Joe Biden certainly knows. Joe Biden certainly remembers Jimmy Carter's, time in office, a one-term Democrat, and I'm sure Joe Biden doesn't want that any more than anybody who is in office wants to be as president one term. So no, I don't agree with that. Look, we had this argument in Outnumbered this morning, okay, Joey Jones and I, right? And, of course, a lot of people are like, oh, Joey schooled Leslie. But no, the reality here is over 9,000 permits are there, and the oil corporations are not the people that were asking, hey, why are you doing this? And speaking of, oil prices have dropped per barrel, so maybe dropping prices at the pump will be next. I'm hopeful. We'll see.
JC, you're chomping at the bit, but the clock says we're out of time. We'll get you next time, my friend.
Very good, very good.
Little filibuster.
Welcome to my world, Jason. Welcome to my world.
It happens. You guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate it, as always. Thank you.